Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions, and thank you for our time together. We're going to have great services tomorrow night out at East Campus. We're starting up revival nights again, but right now, I want us to come back to the book of 1 Kings chapter 17, beginning with verse 1. I want to teach you some thoughts about sowing and about prosperity and about giving that we don't normally like to think about. Beginning with verse 1. Elijah the Tishbite from Tishbe in Gilead said to Ahab, "As the Lord, the God of Israel lives, whom I serve, there will neither be dew nor rain in the next few years except by my word." Then the word of the Lord came to Elijah, "Leave here and turn eastward and hide in the Kidron ravine east of Jordan. You will drink from the brook, and I have ordered the ravens to feed you there." So he did what the Lord told him. He went to the Kidron ravine east of Jordan and stayed there. The ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning, and bread and meat in the evening. Now, I want you to look on down to verse 9. "Go to Zarephath of Sidon and stay there. I have commanded a widow in that place to supply you with food." Now, I want you to see some very strange truths about offerings. Number one, obedience brings provision. If he had not gone to the Kidron ravine, he would have never had food and he would have never had water. If he had not gone to the widow of Zarephath, he would have never had food for the balance of the famine. If the widow of Zarephath had not obeyed the command of God, she would have not had provision. Now, too often you and I forget that if you're going to have God's provision, obedience is necessary. Obedience is part of faith. By faith, we obey. Now, brothers and sisters, it takes more than just, well, God, I believe you. Faith obeys. God says to do this, and you do it. And as you go where he tells you to go and do what he tells you to do and live the way he tells you to live, provision flows to your life. The second truth, God creates an opportunity to give. The widow of Zarephath was provided for because God gave her an opportunity to give. Thirdly, the poor must be given an opportunity to sow. I'm so tired of people saying, you shouldn't ask those people to give anything, they're so poor. That's how they stay poor. The poor must be given an opportunity to sow because that's how God blesses them. And the fourth thought, sowing always comes first. Before the widow of Zarephath was able to receive her provision, she first had to take the last of her bread every day, the last of her oil every day, make bread for Elijah, take it to him. When she came home, there was more for her. Every day she had to sow first. And in verse 13, the pattern had to be repeated. It was daily. Now, these are 5 thoughts we don't like to think about when it comes to giving. But let's remind ourselves of them. Obedience is necessary for provision. God will create an opportunity to give so that he can provide. The poor must be given an opportunity to sow. Sowing must come first, and the pattern must be repeated.